I'm Jane Applegath. Welcome to the Epic Vision Zone, where bold ideas meet extraordinary leaders. What if every act of forgiveness, compassion, and courage you've ever offered has been building your legacy all along, your love footprint? And what if the greatest revolution the world ever sees isn't technology, but a revolution of love? David Cunningham is a transformational teacher, spiritual visionary, and lifelong advocate for humanity. From humble beginnings in rural Pennsylvania to leading transformational programs on 6 continents, David has spent over 30 years guiding more than 500,000 people to freedom, authenticity, and love through his work with Landmark Worldwide. A former special education teacher, LGBTQ plus rights advocate, and lifelong spiritual practitioner, David has dedicated his life to elevating humanity, helping people heal, lead, and live from love. He is the founder of the Love Matters collaboration and creator of The Awakening, a groundbreaking transformational weekend. He is also the author of the powerful new book, Your Love Does Matter, a journey to new consciousness and expanding your love footprint, a book that teaches unconditional love and acceptance without judgment. In a world that often forgets what truly matters, David calls us home, back to the heart. Because when we awaken to love, everything changes our lives, our leadership, our consciousness, our world. And as David says, love isn't something we find, it's something we remember. Welcome, David. Thank you for joining us here today.
Hello, so great to be with you and to everybody watching and listening.
Wonderful. Well, I am excited to get started with this topic because God knows we need this right now. Seriously. So share a bit about your early life and the defining moment when you realized that love was the most powerful force of change which led you to deciding your life of transformation.
I'd have to say my journey with all of this started with a very vivid memory of when I was 4 years old, believe it or not. But when I was 4 years old, we lived in a very, very small town of Olean, New York, and we went to a small wood frame church. And one night, my parents took me to a candlelight service, which meant that the whole sanctuary of the church was lit only by candles, which was amazing for me at 4 years old. And believe it or not, the service was an artist painting on a velvet canvas. Jane, did you ever see paintings on a velvet background? Sometimes you see them by the highway, like a painting. Usually it's about Elvis Presley or a painting of a tiger on a velvet background. This was an artist painting a picture of Jesus with the children and lambs on a velvet background. And in my 4-year-old eyes, it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. But I was struck by, here's what I was struck. I have a vivid memory of it, which was I was struck by how much Christ loved. He loved those children, loved the world, loved people. And I think, Jane, I relate to it as the first experience I had of my own soul, because I sat there with my 4-year-old little eyes bugging out and thinking, I love that much. I know I love that much. I love people that much. And I think it was my first encounter with my own soul, actually. And that was the very beginning. And then, as I went through life for the next several years, I got talked out of that. My family, much to my dismay and surprise, my dad turned a few years later. He just turned very violent, and our house became a violent household. And he was extremely violent. And no matter how much I talked to him, nothing calmed him down. And it was the lesson I was getting was, well, I guess love doesn't matter. I thought love mattered. I thought I thought love mattered more than anything else, our love for each other. And I guess it didn't matter. So that was in my own family. Then as a young adolescent or as an adolescent, I started coming out as a gay man. And I got told that my love was completely unacceptable. oh, all right. And then we moved away from the rest of our family. So my nuclear family, my mom, my dad, my sister, and I, we moved away from everybody else. And it was like, I guess that doesn't matter. We just left everybody.
Mm.
So by the time I was an adult, that love I knew I had for people, I got convinced it really didn't matter. In fact, in some cases, it was unacceptable.
Hmm.
And it wasn't until then in the 1980s. So I'm 73 now. I was born in 1951, so I'm 73. But in the 1980s, I encountered the transformational programs invented by Warren Earhart. It was called the S training at that point. And that was my first experience again as an adult of pure love. There was, I was in this hotel ballroom with 250 people, but something happened in that program where everything, every difference between people, all conflict between people, it disappeared. It was I was just struck by, oh wait, humanity really can love itself. Like we can love all people. All people can be loved. That was my first reawakening. And then several years later, uh, about 25 years ago now, I met a guru. Her name is Sai Ma. And Sai Ma touched my heart in such a way that was so profound. And she really opened me back up. I got past all embarrassment. I got past all my concerns, all my judgments of myself,
Mm.
and was able to fully start expressing my love again. From that being touched by that spiritual enlightenment, it was just beautiful. But ever since then, I've been okay. I'm let loose. I'm loving, and that's what I'm doing. I'm loving, and and it's. I discovered for myself that that is as human beings. That's when we're truly happy. Is when we love. That's when we
Mhm.
are happy as human beings, and that's why I want to make sure I pave this pathway for as many other people as I can.
Mm. That is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, David. It's so interesting that, we're brought into love, but it was reawakened in you. And my sense was that that meeting, that reawakening, and then meeting the teacher that opened you up completely was a love for yourself. That's what I got, is the greatest love is for ourselves, and due to circumstances uncontrollable by yourself. We're growing up in that family, where you said, I guess love doesn't matter, and then another instance that kept teaching you, no, it doesn't matter. It's not what I think, because it was in your soul. It was there, and it just needed to be rekindled. But I think what my sense was that, because you said it opened me wide up, I think it was like the love for yourself became so great that you said, now I don't, I'm going to spread this message as far as I can and as wide as I can, because I don't
And
care.
and yeah, and also it's that I would never tell somebody they should be more loving. That would be
Mm.
ridiculous because I am very committed to that. When people are free, when we're free, we love. Free
Mm.
from what? Free from opinion, free from judgment, free from resentment, free from anger. When we are free, we
Mm.
love. Now, judging and opinionating and resenting has become normal,
Yes.
but there's a big difference between normal and natural. So, although it's become normal for us to judge others, although it's become normal for us to carry resentments, I am crystal clear it's not natural. When we're able to free ourselves from that, we naturally love. So I
Mm.
never would say to somebody you should be more loving. All I would say is let's be able to free you from the resentments you carry. Let's be able to free you from the judgments you carry for others and for yourself. And if we
Mhm.
can free you from those judgments and free you from those resentments, free you from the fear, free you from the anger, what happens is you love, and that is the true joy in being human, is loving.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
not only the joy, Jane, if I could say, it's what has us be effective with others. To
Right.
be effective in our relationships, to get anything done,
Right.
whether that's to get a project done at work or to get our family to cooperate in a certain way, or whether it's to get laws passed in our country. To be effective with other people, we've got to love them. They've got to be in our arms. They've got, that people have to know that they are respected and honored and loved by us, or they won't listen to us. So to be effective,
Mm.
we also, love is essential.
Yes. Yes. Well, you've got a lot of work to do, David. Let's get it going. I'm all with you.
Yeah. Well, we're
Seriously.
getting the message out.
Yeah, I
You know,
love it.
I did send a copy of my book to every member of Congress in the United States and the president and the vice president. So just in the last couple of weeks, every member of Congress and the president and vice president got my book and a little message from me. So
Oh, great.
we're at
Well, we're
work.
going to talk about that, but wow, good for you. I am so excited for that. Let's see if we can shift some of those people. That's a heavy lift, but anything is possible when you believe, right? Absolutely. Well, yeah. So I was going to ask you, special education, you've walked many
Uh-huh.
paths: special ed
Mhm.
teacher, advocate, spiritual guide, and leader. So, how have these roles shaped you for transformational leadership work and your understanding of what it truly means to serve humanity?
Well, yes, I was a special ed teacher. And I was early in my career. I had a very blessed career journey. So I started out as a special ed teacher. I also worked in the child abuse field for
Mm.
several years, and I worked with the organization called Parents Anonymous, which is like Alcoholics Anonymous. It's a self-help group, a program for parents who are abusing their kids or at risk of abusing their kids. And then I led the Landmark Forum, a transformation program around the world for hundreds of thousands of people. And how that all shaped me, I think that the essential lesson from all that was compassion. I discovered compassion.
Mm.
I lost my arrogance. You know, I saw people, sometimes failing in their lives, struggling in their lives. And I learned though that it was, that saying, there by the grace of God go I.
Right.
It used to be, well, if I was in your shoes, I would handle it this way. And then I got, well, that's a ridiculous thing to say because I'm not in their shoes. I guess the really important thing is, if I was in you in your shoes, how would I handle this? I learned compassion, that there's nobody that is intending to suffer. There's nobody that is saying, I want to fail. That that there's people are stuck where they're stuck and limited where they're limited. And given the chance, people would thrive and love. So I learned real compassion for people, and no matter what they were going through.
Yes, that's a wonderful lesson for all of us. Compassion is a huge, um, I don't like to say barrier, but we're not very compassionate and mostly to ourselves. We'll often say to a friend, you can do this, da da da, but to ourselves, we don't share that compassion.
Mhm.
You were going to say
Well,
something?
we get caught in judgments and opinions, don't we? Right. So, and people have I think our relationship to judgments and opinions is weak. In other words, first off, judgments and opinions, where do they come from? We don't even make them up, right? We inherited them all. We have the judgments and opinions of the culture that we were born into,
Mm-hmm.
mostly, right? So that we don't, the first to just really deal with, wow, all the judgments and opinions I have, I didn't make them up. I inherited them. I learned them along the way. I heard them from others. Oh, so first off, they're not even mine. Second off, is that they're something I have, like I have a shirt or I have a car. We have opinions, we have judgments. It's not who we are. How do we know that? Because they come and they go. Like I could have an opinion 1 minute and then later it's gone, but I'm still here. So if I'm
Mm-hmm.
still here and the opinion is gone, then I can't be the opinion because it's gone and I'm still here. So also to discover that I'm not my opinions, they're things I have, just like I have shoes. So the importance we've placed as a society on our opinions and our judgments, I think, is misplaced. And so to have a relationship with judgments and opinions, like, and here's what doesn't work, Jane. What doesn't work is to try to talk ourselves out of them. Like, okay, my dad's a jerk. No, he's not. He's really a nice guy. He's trying the best he can. He had a hard childhood himself, after all. To try to talk ourselves out of opinions doesn't work. It's just an endless debate. Here's
Mhm.
what works with opinions and judgments is we can actually put them aside. Literally put them aside. Like, they're in front of us. Like, I'll have this glass. I have a glass in front of me right now. All right. I can argue with the glass, like, this glass shouldn't be here. This is a terrible glass. Huh? I could do that for centuries. Or what I've discovered is I can actually put the glass aside. It's still there, but it's not in front of me anymore.
Mm.
I can take it back if I like, but I can actually put it aside. It's not in front of me anymore. So what's in front of me now is a clear space where I can create something new. Well, that's with physical objects, where I can put my glass aside. I could put the book aside. Well, we can do that with opinions too. We can just take them and move them aside for a while, knowing we can take it back if we like. But they're not in our way anymore. And I invite people to practice that. To literally practice, first off, practice it with physical objects, like putting things aside, and find out we can do that. And then practice, oh, what if I put my opinion aside? What if I put my resentment aside? I don't have to argue with it. I don't have to convince myself it's not true. I don't have to debate it. I can simply put it aside. So, an important lesson to learn for all of us is our resentments and opinions that we have put so much emphasis on. First off, we don't make them up. They're
Mm.
not us. They're things we have, like shoes. They come and they go, and we can put them aside. And when they're not in front of us, they're not limiting us anymore. And then there's something we can create. There's a possible way to relate to each other. We can love each other. Oh, that becomes possible when the opinions and resentments are put aside.
Mm. David, that is so brilliant. The perspective that we can put these aside. All I was thinking was your opinions and judgments are like your shoes. You can wear them or you can take them off. It's a choice.
It, it is a choice. I think that's so important for people to get. Oh, I have a choice. This opinion, I don't know where it came from. This opinion just, and sometimes if we have to, like, tell the truth, we have opinions about total strangers while we walk down the street, don't we? Like, somebody's walking towards us, we have no idea who they are. We just glance at them and think, jerk. Now, where'd that opinion come from? It's like, where did that come from? It's just like, but it went right into my brain, this opinion called jerk. All right, now I have what you just said is gold. I now, right there in that moment, I have a choice. Do I pick up that opinion and hold on to it, or do I just let that go? And it is our choice. What we do with
Yes.
opinions is our choice.
Yes. Yes. Oh, just a great takeaway. Thank you so much for that insight. Well, that being said, then, um, what is that one of the things that keeps people from experience freedom and authenticity? And how do we begin to break through? I mean, opinions and judgments may be one area, but what have you experienced that keeps people from having a breakthrough or the freedom that they're looking for?
Here's what we've placed an extraordinary value on: being right.
Mm.
Being right. So if I notice, any argument I've ever had was about who's right and who's wrong. Every argument I've ever heard other people have, they were arguing about
Mhm.
somebody was right and somebody was wrong. And if we look even at the argument between nations, wars, they're about
Mhm.
who's right and who's wrong. We've placed so much emphasis on being right. It is truly like the most valued thing it seems that we now have as a society, is being right. We will defend that we're right to the bitter end, no matter what it costs us. So the breakthrough comes, the freedom comes, which is with making, again, another choice, Jane, which is, what am I going to have be most important in my life? Being right or being related?
Yeah.
And that that, and I have to tell the truth, oh, most of the time I choose being right. And I'm always sure I'm right. But here's the real freedom. The real freedom, Jane, is for us to get what when I got for myself, I've never been right. And I'd like, how's this for a radical statement? No one has ever been right. What do I mean by that? Well, it's simple. We each have views of life. We see life a certain way. No two people see life the same way. If you and I are standing side by side looking out at the world, we still have a different view. Even if we're standing really close to each other, side by side, we each have our own unique view. So to argue which view is the right view, that is a silly, destructive argument, isn't it? What if no view is the right view? We just each have a view, so nobody's ever been right, ever. We've just had our views. Oh, if mine's not the right one, it's a possible view, it's a valid view, but guess what? Your view is a possible view and a valid view too. I don't have to argue about which of us is right. I can begin to then wonder something else like, wow, what's your view like? What does your view provide? What does your, how does your view impact you? What does it make possible? I can begin to be curious about other people's views versus arguing with them like one of us has the right. So, how about that for a radical statement? We've never been right. Now, the good news is we've never been wrong either. We just have our view, and so does everybody else. And we
Yeah.
could give up arguing about which is the right view and worry more about being related.
Yes, right is a perspective. It's like people work for perfection. Well, what is perfection? It's subjective. And being right, it's the
Mhm.
same thing, is subjective. That's a real hurdle to overcome for a lot of people in this world today, though, David. I mean, I know I agree 100% with what you're saying, but when you believe that you are right, you're right. And
Oh,
that
it's a
mind
tough
shift.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's
I
that.
just, it's a tough one. Just a couple of weeks ago, I had somebody that I was hiring to do some work for me that I ended up not being satisfied with. And I was so sure I was right. I can't tell you how right I was. I was the most right person on the planet. Okay. But that didn't help anything. It just made it an argument between us. When we
Yeah.
think we're right, we become righteous.
Oh, yes.
And being righteous usually engenders an argument, doesn't it?
Yes, it
It
does.
took everything I had. I'm telling you, it took everything I had to let go. I was holding on with such a tight grip to being right. It took everything I had to let go of that and be committed to being related versus right. And then
Right.
things can work out. When we're related, we can work things out. When we're right, usually we are in an argument.
Yeah. Well, it's a practice. That's what I say. Life is a practice,
Hmm.
but as long
Hmm.
as you have those teachings and the knowledge, then you realize, wait a minute, what's going on here? But so many are unconscious and they don't realize what they're actually doing or what they're saying. And therein lies, like I said, the breakthrough, the freedom. They're stuck. But this is the teachings, and it segues perfectly into your book. Love, titled "Your Love Does Matter," speaks to expanding our love footprint. So, how do we begin to measure or even recognize the impact of our love in a world that often values achievement over connection?
Hmm. Well, let's first, I'm very, very, very happy. And I think it's really important that as a civilization, we have a carbon footprint. And that, people are grappling with becoming aware of that and being responsible for that. Okay, I'd like to add to that conversation, we also have a love footprint. In other words, every time you and I leave an interaction, I could interact with a clerk in a store for 60 seconds, or I could work with a colleague for 2 years, or I could have lunch with my brothers and sisters for an hour and a half. Every time we leave an interaction, here's a good question. what do we leave behind? Do we leave behind opinions, resentments, judgments, indifference, argument? Or do we, in fact, leave behind love? And that's our love footprint. And I think that it really is useful. And I have a practice with myself now. I have two practices. One is before I go any place, before I'm going to be with people, I ask myself, what am I committed when I leave? What am I committed to leave behind? So I prepare, like, okay, I'm going to go have lunch with my sister. What am I prepared? What am I committed to leave behind? All right, I'm going to go interact with, I'm going to go to the dry cleaner. What am I going to leave behind when I walk out of the store? So I ask myself before I enter the situation, what am I committed to? And then when I leave, I give myself a grade. A grade, like, oh, how did I do? Did I, on a scale of 1 to 5, how much love did I leave behind? And telling ourselves the truth about that is very revealing as well. But I'd like the world to pick up, become aware of, yes, we in fact have a love footprint after every interaction.
Mm. Yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's as simple as even like I'll pick up a coffee. And I often say to my husband that, I always chat with the servers. I mean, it's a short interaction, but
Mm-hmm.
it makes my day, it makes their day. I get to know their names and, it's like, how are you today? And I feel good and they feel good. And because, it's not a a very interactive job. People just come and go and get their coffees, and most people don't interact. But they're human, and it really feels good to just say, "Hey, how's your day going?" Or vice versa. They'll ask me because we know each other now. So yeah, and what we've left behind is love, I guess, friendship. Yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I've met so
And
many
yet,
people that
what
way.
what you just said is so important. It's what, like, it has you love the situation yourself. You can go buy coffee and it can be annoying, or you can go buy coffee and it can be a great experience for you. What has it be a great experience is not the coffee.
Mm-mm.
What has it be a great experience is, see, here's the real lesson. We love our lives when we love who we're being.
Mm. Oh,
Period.
amen.
So there's ways of being for human beings. We can be generous, we can be stingy. We can be tender, we can be cold. We can be respectful, we can just be disrespectful. That's up to us. The ways of being in life is the one thing we have a total say about. You and I don't have a total say about what we have. I could have a car 1 minute, it's gone the next. I could have a
Mhm.
job 1 minute, it's gone the next. You and I don't even have a total say about what we do. We could show up at the airport on time for our flight and our flight's canceled. So we don't have a total say about what we do. But the one thing we have a total say about is who we be. Whether we're generous or stingy, that's up to us. Whether we're tender or cold, that's up to us. Whether we are loving or resenting, that is up to us. And the good news is that is the one thing that gives us the quality of our life. What we
Mm.
have doesn't give us the quality of our life. We could have a car, be happy. We could have a car, be miserable. What we
Mm.
do doesn't give us the quality of our life. We can go skiing in the Swiss Alps, be miserable. We can go skiing in the Swiss Alps, be happy. Who we be is the one thing that gives us the quality of our life. Instant by instant, if we love who we're being, we love our lives. Period.
Mm.
That's the single determining factor. And who we be is the one thing we have total say about in life. This is a win-win. The one thing that gives me the quality of my life is the one thing I have total control over. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. There we go.
Oh man, that is such a simple. I mean, the quote is pure gold. I mean, we love
Mm-hmm.
our lives when we love who we're being. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, and it's food for thought. I mean, it's simple, but so true and so profound because you're
And the
absolutely right.
senior, yeah, and the senior lesson is the other person, the way they are with us, does not give us the quality of our life. The way somebody else treats us is something we have. So let's suppose you go and let's suppose the person selling the coffee is cranky.
Mm.
Okay, that gives them their life. It doesn't give us our life. See, it's important for us to get the other person doesn't give us the quality of our life. In other words, if you love me, let's suppose you love me and I'm cranky.
Mm.
Guess what? I don't experience love. I experience crankiness. Let's suppose you respect me and I disrespect you. Guess what? I
Mm.
don't experience respect. I experience disrespect. Let's turn the tables. Let's suppose I love you and you're being cranky. Okay, well, who experiences crankiness? You do. What do I experience? Love, because I'm being loving.
Right.
The other person doesn't give, they can't give us anything. They
Mhm.
can't. The way another person treats us is something we have. Like if the clerk is rude, we have a rude clerk. The
Mhm.
quality of our life comes from who we be, no matter what we have.
Right.
So in relationships, it's really get, well, what's the point of people then if they can't give me anything, right? Why get married? They can't get, if I marry somebody, they can't give me love. I mean, they can give me love, but that puts love in their life. It doesn't put love in my life. Well, then why have a relationship? Oh, because the other person gives me an opportunity to be somebody. I can't be
Mm.
generous if there's nobody there to be generous with. I can't be I can't be kind if there's nobody there to be kind with. I can't be empowering if there's nobody there to empower. Oh, that leaves us grateful for the presence of anybody when we discover I love my life when I love who I'm being, and it takes another person there for me to be somebody. And here's the senior lesson: the more difficult they are, the bigger I get to be. See, a nice
Mm.
clerk in a store is an opportunity to be nice back. A rude clerk's an opportunity for me to be really generous. A great boss is an opportunity for me to be great back. A difficult boss is an opportunity for me to be a real giant of a human being. So the more difficult the other person is, the bigger I get to be. Maybe they're the biggest gift in our life. How's that for a
Yeah.
revolutionary point of view?
That's great. I love it. Absolutely. That's going to be a real practice, but it's so important and profound. Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. And you have a collaboration. It's called the Love Matters Collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
which is a visionary
Mm-hmm.
movement. So share with us how this initiative began and what it means to make love a way of being rather than an emotion.
Yeah. Well, I formed the collaboration. I wrote the book. I really dealt with how this is just going to be, a nice book unless it somehow serves people and people can just. I was really clear about writing the book that I didn't want to write a book about love. You see, you can write a book about being effective, and whoever reads it doesn't end up effective. You could write a
Mhm.
book about being a leader, and whoever reads it doesn't end up a leader. So I was not willing to write a book about love that people would put down and go, well, that was interesting. That was a nice theory about love. And I was only willing to write a book that somehow, when people read it, they ended up for themselves loving in a new way that surprised them, that fulfilled them. So that's the
Mm.
book. It's not about love. It's a journey. That's why it's called a journey to new consciousness. We walk down a path together. Okay. Um, and so with that said, then, okay, well, what would really have this book make a difference is if it somehow engendered a grassroots movement of sorts, right? So like the love. I got clear. I'm 73 years old, and I've resolved for myself that the next 30 years, what I've devoted the next 30 years of my life to, is that love prevails as the preeminent way of being on the planet.
Mm.
Love prevails as the preeminent way of being on the planet. And I'm serious about it. I'm intending to get that done with people. But like I just said, it's with people. I can't get that done until it becomes a grassroots movement and people really discover loving as the most effective, fulfilling way to live life. It'll be nothing. So it's got to be a grassroots movement. So ergo, form a collaboration. I'm going to have people join the collaboration. It'll be for free. I have a big commitment that we end up with people from every country in the world joining the collaboration. And when they join, they don't pay a fee. They simply sign a pledge to expand their love footprint on the planet.
Mm.
So love prevails. It's the preeminent way of being on the planet.
And where can people find out about that?
It's really easy. The website is called yourlovedoesmatter.com. So it's all there. They can find out about the book. They can find out about the collaboration, yourlovedoesmatter.com. They can find out about the flagship course that we're creating called The Awakening that you mentioned. They can find everything right there, yourlovedoesmatter.com. And
Mm.
Can I mention there's one other project I'm very committed to in that is that so I mentioned earlier that I sent a copy of the book to every member of Congress and the president and the vice president. So I'm calling that project Love Goes to the Capitol to infuse our current political system with love, right?
Mm.
The energy of love. So the one piece was just getting the book in everybody's hands, but another piece of the project is we're going to start here in Pennsylvania where I live, and we're going to be starting a project where we go to the Capitol every week for a year, once a week for a year, and every week we just do an act of love. No political talk whatsoever, just an act of love. So one week, the first week we're going up, I do some volunteer work with gentlemen right out of prison. We're going to take a group of these gentlemen who have been in prison up, and they're just going to deliver an orchid to every legislator. Then the next week, we're going to take a group of trans teenagers up, and they're just going to open the doors for legislators. No political talk, just graciously opening the doors for legislators as they come and go. The next week, we're going to take a group of mothers on food assistance programs up, and they're going to deliver a letter of acknowledgement to every legislator. That's 3 projects. So I've got 49 more to go. So 52 projects, one a week for a year. But I'm committed, and I'm hoping that people in other states want to pick that up and do it in their own state. And I'll support anybody that wants to do that. But again, I think we really can do it, Jane. I think we really can infuse the political system with a new energy of love. And I think people in this country and people around the world are hungry for that. So.
Mm. I love that idea. Yeah, that is so powerful to do that as an action, that they're actually there and there's nothing that you're asking in return. It's really just providing love. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, yeah. We
yeah,
got to
and
get you
you
the
know,
exposure.
and the airwaves too. If I know myself, just kind of turn on the news, it's like whoa, not
Mm.
much love coming on across these areas. That's why a podcast like this is so valuable, right? But also, I just want to. I'm out to like capture the airwaves and get as much coverage of these projects as we can, so that like that communication of love starts going through the airways, and we can somehow get the airwaves communicating love and as well.
Yes, yes, that's
That's why this
that.
podcast is so important.
Yeah, that will create you're there and then capturing it and getting the airwaves to pick it up. That's going to create the
Hmm.
movement. That's where the
Hmm.
fire catches on, because people get
Yes.
excited about it. They see it and they're like,
Mhm.
I want to be a part of it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. And yes, going to the Capitol. Well, I applaud you. And if you can shift that environment, you will
Hmm.
be hailed the greatest because wow, we need help there for sure. That is
Hmm.
yeah, that is really something. Well,
Hmm.
thank you. And I think this is very exciting times for you. And I love that you're doing this because, like you said, you're 73. Not that that matters. I always say you're never too old to be young. So
Hmm.
yes, absolutely. These are the things that keep us going. It's always, you just got to keep the movement going and keep your imagination going. And yes, absolutely. I love it. The vision is beautiful, David. Thank you so much for that. Well, what is the
We're
connection?
celebrating my mom's 99th birthday next week, so my mom is alive and kicking as well. So I got good genes and a good future here. So
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations. Oh my God.
Mm,
Happy early birthday to your mom. Oh my gosh, that's
yeah.
wonderful. Wonderful. Well, yes, you've got some ways to go, so good for you. We need you in the
Yeah.
world. So there's no
Thank you,
question
Jane. Thank you.
about that. Well, what is the connection that you believe between love, forgiveness, and leadership, both personally and in organizations? I know there's some depth there because, yeah, definitely in the leadership category as well as personal.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about forgiveness for just a moment, okay? And then we'll take the leap to leadership, okay? Forgiveness, it's really important people discover about forgiveness. People have a hard time forgiving because two things. They think it's an emotion, like I have to feel forgiving,
Mm.
or they think it's got to make sense, like I can it logically figure out why I should forgive you. And I really invite people to step away from that whole paradigm and get the forgiveness is very simple. It's forgive, forgive. I give you back my love like I did before I took it away. See, people do things and we take our love away. We start resenting. Now you'll notice who suffers while we resent is us. So when you forgive, it is not because you figured out that what they did is somehow forgivable. It's not because you feel forgiving. It's simply what you said earlier, Jane. It's a choice. Which life am I going to lead? I can lead a resenting life or I can lead a forgiving, loving life. And so forgiveness isn't for the other person. Forgiveness is for us. When we forgive, we are at peace. When we forgive, we're whole and complete. It's actually not for the other person. It's our choice about the life we want to live. Forgiveness. Now, to leadership. See, you can't be effective with people that don't listen to you. I don't care how brilliant you are. What had Mahatma Gandhi be so ridiculously effective? Is the world listened to him? What had Nelson Mandela be so effective? He got listened to. We're only as effective as we are listened to. Okay? People won't listen to us if they don't feel respected, indeed loved by us. They just won't. You ever have somebody try to give you advice that you knew they were giving you advice and you knew that they didn't respect you? It's like, leave me alone, isn't it? It's like, I don't want to listen.
Mhm.
So leaders must get listened to. I don't care if they're brilliant. If people don't want to listen to them, their brilliance does no good. I don't care if they have the most innovative idea ever. If people don't want to listen to them, it does no good. So leadership requires being listened to. Being listened to requires loving, respecting. It just does.
Mm.
So, and I don't care whether it's being a leader with your teenage adolescent child or it's being a leader in a mega corporation. I don't care. Or the leader in government. It's a matter of being listened to, and that's a matter of loving.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah, that's a big lesson for sure. And I love what
You know, it's,
you go ahead.
I was going to say, Jane, sorry, it's not unlike dancing. If I have a dance partner that's across the room, I can't move them. They just dance however they dance, right? But if I have a dance partner in my arms, I can move them, can I?
Mhm.
So we've got to have people in our arms to move them. So if I want to make a difference again with my child, I've got to have them in my arms to move them. I don't mean literally. I mean, they got to be embraced by me. They've got to be loved by me to move them. If I want to make a difference with people at work, I've got to have them in my arms so I can move them. So
Mhm.
it really is. It's not a Pollyannish idea. Oh, we should love each other, and won't that be nice? No, our effectiveness as leaders depends on it.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, communication is everything. And if you're not communicating, if there's no connection, there's no message, there's no leadership. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like you're right, people tune out. It's really about the energy. I always say everybody's responsible for the energy that they bring into a room. And
Mhm.
if that energy is that of, you know, I'm here and you're going to do whatever I tell you to do because I'm the leader, versus let's be a team and let's work together. It's a totally different leadership. And with your, you know, families as well. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Again, the love and respect that we give people, the compassion we give people, love, respect, compassion, forgiveness where it's needed, again, is not a nice Pollyannish idea. It is essential to
Yes.
leadership. It's essential to making a difference with each other.
Right. Yes. I agree wholeheartedly. Well, David, you've said that your mission is to have love be the permanent way of being on the planet, which
Preeminent,
would be,
preeminent.
yeah, preeminent. I'm sorry, preeminent.
Yeah.
And permanent would be good
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
Preeminent. So, what does that look like in practical terms? Just give us an insight into that vision.
What that looks like in practical terms is people making that choice that you and I talked about earlier, which is having being related be more important than being right. And when I think this is now, I just, as I look at humanity and society, I think we're on the precipice of an evolution. I think we're going to take a step
Mhm.
as a civilization, as a society. And it's the evolution isn't going to be in our bodies. The evolution is going to be in our consciousness. And I think that this is the awakening that is ready to happen, out to happen, is oh, being related is more important than being right. And when that, so that's what it looks like as far as I'm concerned. But it's gotta take hold in our homes. It's got to take home in our institutions, our government. It's going to have to take hold in universities because our leaders come out of universities. Yes. So it's a paradigm shift. It literally is a paradigm shift from somebody's right and somebody's wrong to, oh, no, nobody's right. And what
Mhm.
matters is that we're related. And
Right.
a different question than who's right, who's wrong, or what should we do is what really works. So I like that what guides us and what it looks for love to reveal us, what guides us is not who's right, who's wrong, what's good, what's bad, but what guides us is what works. What gives the most life to the most people as fast as we can.
Mm.
So what works?
Right. Yeah. And you're right. The timing is now. I mean, I feel it as well. There's a shift going on for sure. Things are opening up. People are being a lot more vocal about this kind of work and other work that, you know, they're proving in science, that is all related to this, you know, about the heart and the love, the energy in the heart and how it's greater than the mind. So yes, it's really a fascinating time. And then we've got the other side, which is going another way. So yeah, there's a shift. There's definitely a shift. Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, it's all maybe a test of, okay, how much can I love, right? And I get tested, and we all get tested, right? Okay, can I love that? Can I love that? Can I give my love to that person? All right. And
Mm,
until the answer is yes, we're limited in some way.
right.
People
Yes.
worry that if we love, we condone something. No, we don't condone anything. We can be very clear about what is acceptable and not acceptable behavior without tying that to our love. I can love you and say that that behavior is unacceptable. Okay.
Mm,
So it's not a matter of, we don't have to worry that if we're going to love, we're going to condone everything. No. But again, if I want to make a difference with that person that I don't accept their behavior, if I don't love them, they're not going to listen to me. I'm not going to make a difference with them. The most I can do is try and dominate them or control them, which certainly doesn't last long.
Oh, no. No. Then you're back to square one again,
Exactly.
for sure.
Exactly.
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 So, what has love taught you about yourself that surprised you the most?
I think what love taught me that surprised me most is how righteous I was. I like, whoa, you know, it's funny. I caught myself just a few months ago arguing with my dry cleaner about whether the shirts were done right or not, right? And it was like an argument, like a real argument, right? And uh, uh, the good news about this, and I was dealing with my, when I drove home, it was like, oh, what about your love footprint, right? So I had a 5 minute drive home, and I got home and I called him back right away and just said, I'm so sorry, right? And got the love put back in place. But I never cease to be amazed at how righteous I can be as a human being. And it's just there like a flash, ready to happen. So by really standing for love, I get a present to everything that's not it. So I've been
Mm,
surprised actually, being righteous had become so normal. When something's normal, you don't notice it.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
we hardly ever notice our breathing because it's just constant, right? So when something's constant, we stop noticing it. Oh, well, I hadn't realized how normal being righteous had become.
Right.
But when in contrast to love, all of a sudden it started standing out. And that it's really, I'm glad it did. It's been embarrassing sometimes and, you know, challenging at times, but I'm really glad that I'm catching my own righteousness.
Well, thank you for that vulnerability. But really, it goes back to it's a practice and the
Mhm.
awareness, because without these teachings, without the knowledge that you have gained, you would have gone home and not thought, had a second thought about the argument you had with the shirts. But yeah, it's just
Mhm.
a practice. Like you said, that's a trigger for you, right?
I would have gone home and called my friends and told them how bad the dry cleaner was.
Oh no.
That's what I
Wow.
right. I would have gotten lots of agreement for I was the right one for sure. That was how
Oh,
you would usually go, right? But I love to see. That's why I like this love footprint idea, because Jane, because I think it's simple. One of my mom's friends, my mom, as I said, is 99. One of her friends who's younger, she's 94, called. I was visiting my mom the other day, and she told me what happened with her. She was in the grocery store. She goes, and she was looking at something on the shelves, and somebody bumped her cart behind her, like ran into her cart, and she like had just immediately annoyed and was about to turn
mm,
around and say something snappy to that person. She says, but as I was turning around in that instant, she goes, I remembered your book, and I remembered I had to pay attention to my love footprint. So I turned around, and instead of being snappy, I just turned around to find out who was there and meet them, and it turned out to be my own daughter. It was turned out to be her daughter. So she goes, but the point of that story is I was really happy that in a simple moment like that, somebody thought about their love footprint. Ah,
yeah.
that was good news for me, right? That was
Yeah.
really good news.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
if love footprint allows us in simple moments of life like that to pay attention to what are we putting out in the world, I'm hoping that it serves people just that way.
Make it your new habit, your love footprint. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
That's
again,
like,
a practice. You mentioned practicing. I do recommend that practice before you go someplace. Actually, say the love footprint you want to leave behind, and then when you leave that situation, give yourself a grade. So that practice, I think, is very, very useful.
oh, yes. I think that's a great practice to have, to be conscious before you actually
Hmm.
go to do the whatever it is that you're doing. Well, next time you'll have to think about your when you pick up your dry cleaning, how to do it without getting annoyed at the way the shirts look. Oh my
I know it's
gosh, that is
amazing.
too
It's
funny.
amazing the things we can find to argue about, isn't it? Oh my gosh, it's
I
just
know,
amazing.
I know. Just
I think you used the term about being conscious of it. It is that is this is what is conscious living. So
mhm.
conscious living is living life by design, like choosing what life we're going to live. That's conscious living. Like, oh, I have a choice here. Let me choose what life I'm going to live. So conscious living, yes, we're becoming more and more engaged in conscious living as a society, I believe.
Yes, we have to, because the alternative is not good. We all have to come to more consciousness. Yeah, it's much needed. And I think that's why there's a shift, because those of
Hmm.
us who feel it, who sense it, who acknowledge it, who speak with individuals like yourself and continue to learn, which is what I love to do, we're aware. And the more aware we can become, the more conscious we become. And that elevates the entire planet. It's just
Yes.
the only
And
way.
that awareness is a big deal because if we don't if there's not a new awareness, it becomes a tug of war with ourselves. Like it becomes
Mhm.
like a moral issue. Like I should be more loving. But awareness of, oh wait, love is a way of being. It's not an emotion merely. It's there's a way of being. Awareness, like, oh wait, I've never been right. Nobody's ever been right. We've got views of life. Those kind of awarenesses allow for the expression of love to be a natural self-expression. It opens the door for it. Awareness does. So awareness is very important.
Yes, I agree. Well, if you could leave our listeners, David, with one invitation for their own life, what would it be?
uh, is to the one invitation would be to well the invitation would be to pay attention to your love footprint and get committed to leaving an extraordinary love footprint
Mm,
and to really know that and discover for yourself that you love your life when you love who you're being. That's when you love
mm,
your life, and you're effective when you love. So for joy and effectiveness, it's the key to both joy and effectiveness. So your love footprint, that's the key to all of it.
mm. Yes, thank you. And just tell our audience, I know you mentioned your website before. Is there any, and where they can purchase your book? And all of this information will be available on our bio pages. So
Oh,
just
isn't that
share that
great?
with.
The book is available. Your Love Does Matter. Again, it's called Your Love Does Matter, A Journey to New Consciousness and Expanding Your Love Footprint by David Cunningham. That's available on Amazon. And you can get it hardback, paperback, ebook, and also I just recorded the audiobook. So I'm really happy with that. So the audiobook is now available. And soon it will be available translated into Spanish. So that's all available
Mm,
on Amazon. And then for everything else, the course called The Awakening that's available, that next is happening. The Philadelphia one actually is full, but we're offering again in Los Angeles soon. Uh,
mm.
Information on the course called The Awakening, information on Love Goes to the Capital, information on joining the Love Matters collaboration is all available at yourlovedoesmatter.com.
Okay. And like I said, we'll have all of that information available on the bio pages. And because we're here, David, on the Epic Vision Zone, I have one last question for you. If your
Mm-hmm.
life were an epic story, what would the title be?
Uh, Boy, it'd be right there. Love, what would it be? Like love, love does matter. Like mine would be my love does matter. So
Mm,
the book is called Your
yes.
Love Does Matter, but my journey has been discovering and really standing for it matters that I love. It does. It does matter. My love does matter. It matters to me. It matters to everybody I encounter, and it matters to the world. It matters. that I love. It matters that we love. It does matter.
Mm. Well, thank you for that. And thank you for joining us here and sharing your light, your vision, and your extraordinary work in expanding the consciousness of love across the world and reminding us to leave a love footprint that outlives us, because love is not just what we give, it's what we become. So, once again, for information and to connect with David, go to the Epic Vision Zone bio pages where you will find all of his social media and direct contact information. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at Jane Applegath and look me up at janeapplegath.com. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Epic Vision Zone, also available on iTunes and Spotify, and much more. Sending you so much love and gratitude. Until next time, stay visionary, lead with love, stay epic. This is the Epic Vision Zone, where bold ideas meet extraordinary leaders.